30-goal lead, you must be pleased. Clean sweep the series, in the series in 2 games, and hopefully go for a clean sweep on Wednesday.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, to be able to get the rotations that we have and be able to get, our combinations firing and really explore what depth we've got, and to be able to keep, impacting defensively and also getting, the ball to the shooters is something that we've been working on. So to get that margin and the rotations is a bit of bonus.
Is it a little bit disappointing, given this is the final series before the Comp Games, that it has been so easy on the scoreboard, I suppose?
I think the situation of the players with injury and pregnancy, and it's very exciting for Janelle. You always want to have the best competition, but I don't think the scoreboard really reflects what's actually happening out on the court. I think Jamaica's bringing their style of game, and there's things that you think a ball's going to go a certain way, and then it sort of flips out the other side of the court, or they let the ball go on that 3rd second, and they're prepared to let it go and go to those young shooters. So I think, as much as you want the big guns out there, I think we're getting a lot of learnings, and considering we've had quite a few players that hadn't played Jamaica before, and even some of our experienced players, I think any sort of experience we can get is something we'll take.
Sophie Garden steps up tonight, coming on after half-time. It's a bit of an unusual position for her, coming on mid-match. How do you think she, took the physicality from that match?
I thought Soph had a great impact to the game. I thought she took some good lessons from the first time, and I thought she found the rhythm of how she needs to play the game. And, I think that's the great thing. We've got some versatility in the way Cara plays, and then something completely different in the dynamic with Sophie. So, to be able to switch and change up, and now they're really hitting standard together, I think that gives us, some real threats to what we're trying to do.
She did cop the straight elbow from Katie Ann quite early. Did she seem like she was okay post-game?
To be honest, I didn't really take notice of it. So I think, there's bumps and that happen in both circles. So I think it just comes with the nature of the game and, the contesting for the ball.
How great is it to have someone like Georgie or just be able to get a start out of the attack, over your captain?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, the way in which Georgie plays the game, it's really adding variety. She's quick and dynamic, but she's very smart with how she can take the tempo and change the pace of the game. So I think she's, doing a lot of hard work, and it's really paying off.
Stacey, can I just clarify? I think it's a couple of games unlike World Cup where you can't replace an injured player.
Yeah, so once the competition starts, the 12 remains the same. So you definitely can't rotate. So if an injury happens, you play with 11 or 10 or whatever it turns out. So that's why it is important to have versatility and players playing across positions, because you've got to go, if this player goes down, where would we shuffle the board if this player happens? So we're making sure we cover all our bases.
And Joe Courtney yesterday was saying that camp is really about pressure, building pressure upon pressure. Are you satisfied with how that's going?
Yeah, it's been, I love playing in pressure situations. I feel like it's kind of a privilege, as the cliche goes, and it's where, it's sort of make or break for us as an athlete. I feel like that's the point where you really, be able to show your skill set and put all the hard work you've put in over the years to get the ultimate reward. So I think it's about learning how we cope individually, how we cope as a group, how we cope as units, and with our coaching staff as well. I know it's always hard to make decisions or make the right choices, and it's the same for us probably out on the court, making a decision to defend a certain way or, throw a certain ball. So it's all part of the learning experience.
And Stacey, last one from me. We spotted on the socials and Sargent at camp. I know she's a selector, but was she doing some work with shoes as well?
You're over it. She's absolutely a selector, and we went through a selection process at camp. So Michelle and Annie were both there, and then when you've got a legend of the game that has shooting expertise, you get her beside the court and give in her bits of advice. And I think any time that we have past players, but also players with incredible knowledge to be able to contribute and challenge, I think the shooters really appreciate it. I think within our coaching structure, I take the attack, but I'm not a specialist shooting coach, so when we can get that expertise in there, I think the shooters really relish it.
Joe, what's it like as a player at the moment? You're playing international netball in February, you've got the season starting so soon for Super Netball, and then straight into Comp Games. What's that like as a player with this cramped fixtures, and it seems like just a lot of netball you can shoot? yours, Weston?
I mean, I think it's really exciting. The hardest thing I think about playing for the Diamonds is that we're probably very differently structured to a lot of other national teams where their international goes alongside their domestic competition, which I think is what is so great about SSN. You have the best players in the world playing in Australia week in, week out. So I think the more opportunity we have to play international netball, even though it is kind of crammed, either side of the calendar is really great. It's definitely a challenge for probably, I guess, physically in terms of making sure that you've got, you know, the right preparation for the loading out on court, and then also I guess like the mental preparation. But for us, I feel like we get the calendar quite far in advance. You sort of know what you're in for if you're fortunate enough to be selected for everything and participating. So you just kind of got to jump on and enjoy the ride.
Stacey, we saw Sunday sitting back in the bench today too. How good was it to have her around the camp for what's probably going to be
Yeah, absolutely. And Sunday came and had dinner with the girls last night, and I think that's, you know, once you're in the Diamonds group, it's not like something happens and you've forgotten. And it's the same like with Paige at a distance, and other squad members we've been in contact with. So I think, you know, it's incredibly tough. Being injured and being in that rehab environment is not a pleasant place to be, but I know that she is an absolute professional. She's taking every step, and, you know, we're going to make sure we get the recovery right, and both medical teams are working together, the West Coast Fever and the Diamonds. So it's in our best interest to make sure that she's up and going, but, you know, she's been a part of this squad for quite some time and is well connected to all the group.
Jo, was there a plan heading into today? Obviously, Shanice was so great in game one, but you guys really locked down on her in that first half. Was that something that you identified that was a role you would take on?
Well, yeah, she is very fast, and I am not so fast. Yeah, I mean, I think I was sort of taking off, you know, all of Tilly's hard work in the first half in the game in Adelaide, so I feel like that's part of the structure and I guess the role I sort of played in goal defence, and I feel like we've just got so much depth within our defensive circle that we've got the ability to rotate players and continue to apply the pressure as we've been talking about, and I think, you know, I've played a bit on her domestically, and we were chatting about how it's probably going to be disappointing not to have her over in the SSN this year because she is such a dynamic player and she's so accurate, and despite being probably the shortest player in that ring by a big margin. So I think for me, I'm just always trying to work within our game plan and be able to create opportunities for our goalkeepers and then also myself when it comes up.